English-speaking market. And just in the States, 25% of the population is Hispanic. Spanish is the second largest language, And so when does a company, when do people present, how many, people present to you opportunities to invest in companies that are targeting the Hispanic market? And then when is it that a company has to grow to say, okay, now we're doing it in Spanish, or now we're doing, whatever it is that we do it in Spanish. I used to work for a startup company, and all the software engineers and everything, they all spoke English. So everything that was coded was in English, and we couldn't even put accents on the words. And we didn't realize up until, I kid you not, 2 years later, that from the beginning they should have started, they should have thought, okay, if this is going to translate into the Hispanic market, we have to invest on that right now. So when do you? It's a broad question.
So that's when we started selling our product, which was built by a French team to London banks. It was actually in French, funny enough, with accents though. That was like a bunch of years ago. So the issue of the U.S. market being so U.S. market, you're speaking, people here is so big that people tend to really focus on that. There aren't that many Spanish-speaking focused startups, and that's a market which I don't know as a sub-market of the US market. So people tend to look at the market broadly, and then we'll address specific marketing and specific sort of languages and whatever at some point in the future. And the future can be 2 to 3 years down the road. They try and build, so they understand the challenge and the potential of internationalization. So they build everything in a way which allows them to go to Spanish, Chinese, and French, and Japanese, and so on and so forth. But they don't focus on that. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 opportunities in the past 5 years which were focused especially on the Spanish-speaking market, and they tend to be all based in Florida.
So on that note, which quick is interesting. So I actually just got an email 3 days ago. There was actually a group of Chinese from Tencent, very active. A lot of Chinese investors are coming. They want to buy companies.
Yeah.
Very focused on mobile. It's coming in 2 weeks.
That's one thing which is pretty new. Over the past 2-3 years, you've seen Japan, Korea, and China becoming absolute exit strategies, even for US companies.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be the case that European companies would be acquired by the US. US companies would be acquired by US companies. But now suddenly, especially in gaming, Korea, Japan, very big, massive companies there, multi-billion-dollar market caps, buying US companies to get their entry in the market.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. With that, thank you so much for taking the time tonight. And let's give these guys a great big round. You guys have a lot of other cool things that you can do and rather spend time with us. And right after this, we actually do have a lot of awesome Spanish company who's actually going to come up here. I'm going to let Cesar to introduce each of them. So if you guys want to hang out,
great.
Thank you. Yeah. You can either stay. Up to you. You can either go there, stay here. Thank you so much, Lloyd.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bernardo.